What's going on, everybody? This your boy Mike from Wicked Ink. I'm here to bring you my review for The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 14, called Spin. Alright, spoilers for anybody who has not seen the episode yet. Another great episode. Looks like this whole Season 5 has turned out to be just, in my opinion, one of the best seasons that we've seen so far. So we first step on the scene, we see Father Gabriel ripping up pages out of a Bible. And then, we have our intro. But then we get right into it. There's a bunch of characters that I want to touch on a little bit. There's a bunch of characters we didn't see in this episode. But I think the ones that we didn't see in this episode, we're definitely going to be seeing next week, just from the little previews that I've seen of what's going to go down. We first see Noah talking to Deanna's husband about him wanting to not necessarily be an architect, but just basically learn more about how to keep the walls up, how to improve it, how to build things. Because he's the one that knows all about the construction of everything that's going on in Alexandria. So Noah was talking to him about that, and then Deanna's husband in turn basically tells Noah, he writes everything down, and he rips a page out of his little notebook and he hands it to Noah, and basically tells Noah, since he wants to learn all this, then he's going to start teaching him, and wants Noah to document everything and basically document it, because it's everybody's looking at it like a growth of a new world. Basically, everybody that lives there is it's in that train of thought. So he basically gives him the notebook and tells him he's kind of a passing it down type deal. So then right after that, we see Glenn, Eugene, Nicholas, Aiden, and Tara all go to make a run to get some supplies or whatnot for Eugene to whip something up for him at Alexandria. I'm not going to give too much away, but just in case people haven't seen the episode yet. But yeah, they go on a run, which in turn leads to Noah and Aiden dying on the run. But I'll touch more on that here in a few minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little salty that Tyrese didn't get to see all of this stuff. Could have gave a man a cookie, at least let him last that long. Back to the episode. We see them on a run, and we see Tara and Eugene talking. Basically, Eugene's telling her how much of a coward he is. She looks back and she goes, "Are you really that big of a coward?" Yes, I told you that. I mean, not gonna lie, he told him that, but I am actually want to touch on Eugene for a minute, because I'm actually impressed with his character this episode. Now, granted, through most of the episode, he was a normal Eugene, cowardly ass, but stop picking at me. But through the last half of the episode, I was really impressed with Eugene. I mean, he really, when they were on the run, Aiden was shooting at Walker. Walker had a grenade on him. Glenn noticed it at the last second, told him to stop. It blew up. He couldn't stop him in time. So Aiden basically blew everybody up, knocked Tara out, bleeding from the back of her head. Everybody thought Aiden was dead, so they bolted into a next room that the walkers couldn't get at them in. While they're in the room talking, they realize that Aiden is still alive. He's just pinned to the wall. Glenn, Nicholas, and Noah go out there to try to save him. There's a short little scene where you can see Nicholas up in Aiden's face and basically tells him, "You left him, we left him, that's who we are." I'm assuming that they're talking about the guy that the walker killed, the walker that they had pinned up last episode. It was they had said that walker killed their friend. I'm almost wanting to believe that that's who they were talking about. Maybe. I'm not real sure about that. That's just my thought. But yeah, he tells him that, and he goes to bolt out of there. So they basically they all bolt, and Aiden gets ate up by walkers. One of the more gruesome deaths I think we've seen in season 5 or in the whole series, to be honest with you. But that was good. I was kind of happy about that. Aiden was kind of a porch dick, so I didn't really like him anyway. Back to Eugene. Now, like I said, I'm kind of impressed with his character because he really stepped it up a notch. Because while they were doing all that with Aiden, Eugene actually put Tara on his back and started walking up out of there because they needed to get there was medical supplies in the van, so they had to get Tara to the van. And he just propped her up on his back, and on the way out, I'm not gonna say he was a badass walking her out of there, but I mean he was shooting walkers, you know what I mean? They didn't get to him, so I mean he did a good job. He got her to the van, and after that you see Glenn and Nicholas and Noah all trapped in one of the revolving doors. Well, they tried to make a plan to get out of there. Nicholas didn't follow through with the plan. As he opened the door came in on Noah and basically left him vulnerable to walkers, and they just pretty much just yanked him out of there, man, ate him up. Now, that part I want to say was also pretty gruesome, but I also want to mention Tim Proctor. He's played a walker a bunch of times in The Walking Dead. He's actually in my group, Dead to Zombies, and I want to give a shout out to Tim because he was part of ripping Noah apart in that scene right there. So shouts out to Tim. Good job, man. But after that, you know, we see Noah's death. So at that point, we're already having two deaths in the episode, and I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to have at least one more before the season is up. Possibly 2 more. We ain't got but 2 more episodes, but I'm thinking we'll have at least 2 more. Pete comes into Rick's house and with like 2 beers, offering him beer for helping his wife, and basically tells Rick, you know, I know you've lost your wife. It may seem like we haven't lost anything here at Alexandria, but we really have, and we're still fighting to keep on to what we still have. But the way he put it, it was almost directed like he knew Rick was digging Jesse. It just felt like, to me, it felt like that. I mean, I don't know anybody else, but to me, it felt like that. But, you know, Rick took it for what it was. Pete was like, well, you know, let's just be friends. We have to be friends, don't we? And Rick was like, yeah, I guess we do. They shook hands. He walked out. Well, later on in the episode, we see a part where Carol, Jesse and Pete's son, I can't remember his name. I think his name is Chris, maybe. But he confronts Carol again and about some cookies. So Carol told him that if he would go steal a bar of chocolate, she'd make him some cookies. But he had to get her a bar too. And, you know, she's still being mean, pushing him out the door, you know, Carol. But later on in the episode, we see him come back with the chocolate. They start baking. They get into a conversation, kind of almost a little bonding moment. Carol, the kid asked Carol if he could have a gun, and Carol's like, you know, what do you need a gun for? And he says, not for me. And then when she asked him who it was for, the kid bolted out the door. So Carol got a little suspicious. Now, as you remember, Carol, when Carol first came on the scene, you remember she was a battered wife. So I think she kind of read into his body language and stuff. So Carol decides to drop by Pete and Jesse's house. Pete answers the door like all creepy like, and basically shuts the door in Carol's face. So Carol, from that, just by his demeanor when he opened the door, like I'm just assuming that she could tell what was going down. So at the very end of the episode, we see Carol and Rick have a conversation, and basically tells Rick that Pete is beating on Jesse and probably the kid too. And basically tells Rick there's only one way this has got to go down. He's going to have to kill him. So we're still waiting to see how that plays out. Father Gabriel. Really? Really, dog? They just saved your ass. And you going to come in there and tell Deanna that they're bad people. They can't be trusted. Now, from the looks of it, it looked like Deanna fed into that shit. Or at least got her thinking. But I hope she realizes that, you know, or looks at the bigger picture and they did get him there. You know, they did what they had to do to get him there. You know what I mean? So I really hope that don't affect the way that Deanna looks at the group. Especially now because of all the stuff that's going on, and everybody's got, you know, getting bigger positions and stuff within the walls and everything. So I hope this don't affect her decisions on some stuff, which I don't think it will, because, you know, I'm sure any one of them people could spend an hour with Father Gabriel and tell he's a damn coward. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to see what happens with that. The last and final thing I want to speak on about the episode is Abe. Abe had a hell of an episode. Dude had a Tyrese moment. Now, if you don't know what I mean by Tyrese moment, that's a Tyrese moment. Dude took out all them walkers by himself with a hammer. That's why I like Tyrese. All right. Now, he had a Tyrese moment. So, basically, he took out a bunch of walkers by himself. We do meet another character. Offhand, I can't remember what her name was. I apologize for that. But he goes and saves a chick. Now, I think they're going to try to play her as Holly from the comics. But we'll see about that. We'll see. I have heard that we may see another character named Holly. So, I could be completely wrong. That's just my kind of thought. But that's about all I got for you guys today. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting out more updates. I'm going to start doing more gaming updates as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll put the link in the description for my Dead to Zombies group on Facebook. Come join me there. We do Q&As. We do trivia, giveaways, all kinds of awesome stuff. So, alright. Hope y'all have an awesome day. Dead to Zombies, you guys fucking rock.